Zara was the most beautiful girl in the village, and it shocked everyone because no one had ever seen such beauty before. Not the kind of beauty that needed effort or attention, but the kind people noticed without trying. Wherever she stood, she drew eyes. Whatever direction she turned, people watched. What Zara did not understand was this: you don't have to offend people for them to hate you. She lived in a quiet village where bees followed the same routine and nothing ever really changed. People woke up, worked on their farms, fetched water, went to the market, and returned home before nightfall. No one stood out, except Zara. She never chased attention, yet attention followed her. She dressed simply, spoke softly, and minded her business. Still, people talked. They began calling her Golden Girl, not because she asked for it, but because even those who felt jealous could not deny what they saw. Some said it with admiration, others said it with hidden bitterness. Her parents were simple farmers who valued peace. Her mother laughed easily even during hard times. Her father spoke calmly, choosing silence over conflict. They raised Zara to believe that kindness mattered and that humility protected the heart. Every morning, Zara fetched water early. She greeted elders properly, smiled at neighbors, and carried out her duties quietly. She never compared herself to others. She never tried to shine brighter than anyone else. Still, whispers followed her. At first, they were soft and easy to ignore. Then, one afternoon at the stream, she heard someone speak behind her. "So, she thinks beauty belongs to her alone?" Zara turned. Standing together were Naya, Suri, and Kemi, girls she had known all her life. They smiled, but their smiles did not reach their eyes. Their laughter sounded playful, yet something about it felt wrong. Zara smiled politely, hoping kindness would end the moment. It didn't. Their words became louder and clearer. "Pretty face, empty head," one of them said, laughing. "Beauty won't save her forever," another added. People nearby heard. Some looked away, others watched quietly. Zara said nothing. She walked home slowly, her head lowered, pretending she didn't care, even as her chest felt heavy. That night, her pillow was wet with tears. Her mind was full of questions with no answers. Her mother noticed the change. She pulled Zara close and whispered, "Sweet fruit attracts flies, but flies cannot destroy what God has planted." Zara nodded, though the loneliness stayed with her. People began to look at her differently. Some said her beauty was not natural. "How can she be this beautiful?" they would say. Others claimed her mother must have done something forbidden. Zara stayed home more often. She helped on the farm, avoided the market, and kept to herself. People spoke to her differently. Some spoke too carefully. Others avoided her completely. Smiles that once came easily now felt forced. Simple greetings were answered with silence or short replies. Many nights, she asked her parents the same question. "When did beauty become a crime?" she would ask quietly. Her mother always pulled her close. "People fear what they don't understand," she said. Her father would add, "You have done nothing wrong. Never let their hearts change yours." Their words comforted her, but only for a while. One afternoon, as Zara passed near a neighbor's house, she overheard raised voices. She slowed her steps without meaning to. "I don't want my daughter close to that girl," one woman said. "People like her bring trouble," another replied. "She makes the girls restless." Zara froze. They were talking about her. She turned back quietly and walked home, her legs weak. That night, she cried for a long time. Sleep only came when her tears were gone and her thoughts were too tired to continue. Days passed. Then, one morning, the village woke to the loud sound of the town crier's drum. The beating was fast and serious, the kind that meant important news. People rushed out of their houses, gathering in the village square. Zara watched from a distance as the crowd formed. The town crier cleared his throat. By order of the chief, he announced, a grand ceremony will be held in 3 days. The crowd stared. All unmarried young women must attend, he continued. Great blessings will be given that night. The village exploded with excitement. Girls screamed with joy. Mothers clapped their hands. Tailors began to measure cloth immediately. People talked over one another, already guessing what the ceremony would bring. Zara felt none of that excitement. Her heart sank. Public gatherings had never been kind to her. There were places where whispers grew louder and stares lasted too long. She had endured enough. Quietly, she made a decision. She would not attend. But as she stood there, watching the excitement spread through the village, she did not know one thing. The ceremony was not something she could avoid, and whatever waited there was already moving toward her. Zara had already decided she would not attend the ceremony, no matter what anyone else said. Crowds meant laughter, whispers, and eyes that followed her like shadows refusing to move. She planned to stay home, help her mother cook, and pretend the celebration didn't exist. But her mother refused. You will go, she said, gently but firmly. Fear should never decide your future. Zara wanted to argue, but something in her mother's voice told her this wasn't a battle to fight. Reluctantly, she agreed, though her heart felt tight with worry instead of excitement. Her mother searched through her wooden box and brought out a beautiful wrapper folded carefully inside. She also removed a beaded necklace and placed it gently around Zara's neck. You look like hope, her mother said softly, not fear. Zara smiled weakly, unsure whether to believe her own reflection. While she prepared quietly, others were planning something far darker than dresses or hairstyles. Naya, Suri and Kemi met by the stream early that morning, their voices sharp with bitterness. If Zara comes, Naya said, everyone will look at her instead of us. The chief's son will notice her immediately, Suri added, frustration burning behind her smile. Then she must not come, Kemi said coldly, not at all. They didn't shout, they didn't argue. Their decision felt smooth, dangerous, and already final. 2 days later, something strange happened. The girls came to Zara's house smiling, carrying roasted corn and sweet fruit. Zara nearly dropped the bowl she was holding when she saw them standing at her doorway. We wanted to apologize, Naya said softly. We were childish before. Suri nodded. We've grown. We want to start over. Kemi smiled warmly. Friends? Zara's heart raced. This was everything she had prayed for without saying aloud. Her mother watched them carefully, eyes narrowed slightly, but said nothing. That evening, her mother pulled her aside. Be careful, she warned. Snakes don't change. They only change skin. But Zara was tired of being alone. She wanted to believe people could change. Soon, the girls visited often. They laughed together. They braided Zara's hair. They praised her voice and smile. For the first time in months, Zara felt seen without being hurt. One afternoon, she showed them her ceremony outfit. They gasped dramatically. You look like a queen, Kemi said, smiling. You'll steal everyone's attention, Suri said sweetly. Zara blushed, feeling warmth spread through her chest instead of fear. But behind their smiles, something darker moved. That evening, the girls met secretly near the forest path. We do it tomorrow, Naya said. Before she reaches the ceremony, Suri added. Kemi nodded. She won't make it there. They picked up hoes and shovels and disappeared into the bush. The earth was hard, but hatred is stronger than exhaustion. They dug until their hands blistered and their clothes soaked with sweat. By nightfall, a deep pit hid beneath leaves and loose soil. A trap disguised carefully, waiting quietly. The next morning, Zara woke early, nervous but hopeful. Her mother hugged her tightly. Go straight to the square, she whispered. Don't follow anyone anywhere. Zara nodded, promising, though her heart felt lighter than it had in weeks. Then she heard footsteps outside. Zara, Suri called brightly. Let's go together. Zara hesitated.
But loneliness has a way of silencing warnings, and hope has a way of blinding fear. She stepped outside.
Zara stepped outside and found Naya, Suri, and Kemi dressed beautifully, smiling like nothing was wrong. They looked like flowers in bloom, bright, cheerful, and impossible to suspect of danger. Let's walk together, Naya said sweetly. It's more fun that way. Zara hesitated, remembering her mother's warning echoing softly inside her chest. But Suri laughed. You're not still scared of old stories, are you? Kemi added. We're friends now. Let's enjoy today together. Zara forced a smile and followed them down the dusty path toward the village square. At first, everything felt normal. They talked about the ceremony, the music, the dancing, and who might attend. Zara felt light, almost happy, like the past weeks of pain were finally ending. Then, Naya suddenly turned into a narrow path leading into the forest. This way, she said casually. It's shorter. Zara slowed. But this isn't the main road. Suri laughed. Trust us. We always use this path. Her heart tightened, but her feet kept moving. The trees thickened. The air felt heavier. Even the birds stopped singing. Their laughter faded into silence. Zara noticed her footsteps sounded too loud against the quiet. Why are we going this way? She asked softly. Kemi smiled. Relax, you're overthinking. They walked deeper. Leaves crunched beneath their feet. Branches brushed against their clothes. Zara's chest tightened, her heartbeat growing louder in her ears. Suddenly, Naya stopped and pointed ahead. Step there, she said. The ground is smoother. Zara took one step forward. Then the earth disappeared beneath her feet. Her scream tore through the forest as her body dropped into darkness. Pain exploded through her legs when she hit the bottom. Dust filled her mouth, her head spun, her vision blurred. She looked up and saw their faces above her, smiling, cruel, satisfied. Well, Naya said calmly, look at the village beauty now. Suri laughed. Dance there if you want attention. Kemi tilted her head. Let's see who notices you now. Zara's heart pounded violently. Please, she begged, help me. Why are you doing this? Naya sneered. You think you're better than us. You think you deserve everything, Suri added. Let's see who chooses you now, Kemi finished. They turned away. Zara screamed as they walked off, her voice tearing through the trees. No one came. She tried climbing, but the walls crumbled beneath her fingers. Pain shot through her legs whenever she moved. Her voice cracked, her throat burned, her body shook violently. The sun slowly sank, turning the sky orange, then purple, then black. Cold wrapped around her like invisible hands squeezing her chest. Tears fell freely now, mixing with dirt on her face. She hugged her knees, trembling, whispering prayers into darkness. She realized no one knew where she was. No one was coming, and she was trapped. The ceremony had already begun, but Zara's seat remained empty, drawing quiet concern from her mother. She stood at the edge of the square, scanning every face, every path, every moving shadow. Her heart tightened with each passing minute. She should have arrived by now, she whispered. Her husband shook his head. Maybe she went another way. But a mother's heart rarely accepts easy answers. Meanwhile, Naya, Sari, and Kemi danced among the crowd, laughing like nothing had happened. They avoided Zara's parents' eyes, keeping their smiles carefully in place. Music filled the air, but unease crept quietly into Zara's mother's chest. She asked girls nearby if they had seen her daughter. No, they replied easily. We haven't seen her today. The ceremony continued, but her mother's fear grew heavier with every beat of the drum. She found her husband and grabbed his arm tightly. Something is wrong, she said urgently. She wouldn't miss this. They searched the square, the roads, the market, and every nearby compound. No Zara. The chief's son watched the dancers, but felt nothing stir inside him. His eyes searched the crowd, unsettled, as though someone important was missing. I feel no connection, he told his father quietly. The music slowed. The mood shifted. Confusion rippled across the gathering. Zara's parents rushed forward and announced their daughter was missing. Murmurs spread through the crowd like fire through dry grass. The chief ordered guards to search the village and surrounding paths immediately. They searched houses, farms, roads, and fields. They found nothing.
Zara's mother collapsed onto the ground, tears soaking the earth beneath her knees. Her father held her tightly, struggling to stay strong, while fear crushed his chest. Night fell. Lanterns glowed. Still, Zara did not return. Her parents lay awake, whispering prayers into the darkness, hoping dawn would bring answers. Meanwhile, Zara lay shivering in the pit, her body weak, her throat raw from screaming. Her legs throbbed painfully. Every movement sent waves of agony through her bones. She whispered her mother's name, her father's name, and every prayer she could remember. Cold pressed into her skin as darkness wrapped around her like a heavy blanket. At some point, exhaustion pulled her into restless sleep. Morning light crept slowly into the pit, warming her face slightly. She tried shouting again, her voice weak but desperate. Help! Please! Someone! Her voice barely carried, but somewhere in the forest, someone heard it.
At dawn, a traveler named Malik entered the forest carrying supplies toward the neighboring village. He walked quietly, listening to birds, leaves, and distant sounds that usually meant nothing at all. Then he heard it, a weak cry drifting through the trees, fragile, broken, but unmistakably human. Help, please! Malik froze, listening carefully, unsure whether his ears were playing tricks on him. The voice came again, softer this time. He followed the sound, pushing through bushes, stepping over roots, heart pounding harder with every step. Soon, he reached a hidden pit disguised beneath broken branches and scattered leaves. He peered inside and saw Zara at the bottom, dirty, trembling, and barely conscious. "Oh my God," he whispered. "What happened to you?" Zara lifted her head weakly. "Please help me." Malik immediately tied his rope to a nearby tree and lowered it into the pit. "Hold on," he said gently. "I've got you." Her arms shook as she grabbed the rope, but Malik pulled steadily, refusing to let her slip. When she reached the top, her legs collapsed beneath her. He caught her before she fell and helped her sit against a tree. "Easy," he said softly. "You're safe now." She drank water greedily, coughing, tears falling freely down her dusty cheeks. Between broken breaths, she told him everything: the jealousy, the fake friendship, the forest, the fall. Malik listened silently, anger tightening his jaw. This world can be cruel, but cruelty doesn't get the last word. "I need to go home," Zara whispered weakly. Malik hesitated. "The village is searching, but your injuries need care first." He wrapped her legs with cloth and helped her walk slowly toward a nearby hunter's hut. There, he cleaned her wounds, fed her warm soup, and let her rest until strength returned. For hours, Zara slept peacefully for the first time since falling into the pit. By evening, she could stand again, though pain still lived in her steps. "I must return," she said firmly. "My parents will be dying inside." Malik nodded. "Then we go, but not quietly." "What do you mean?" she asked. "You won't walk back as a victim, you will walk back with truth." He helped her onto his donkey and they began their journey toward the village square. As they walked, drums echoed faintly in the distance. "The ceremony hasn't ended. You're returning at the perfect time." Zara's heart raced. She didn't know what waited for her, but for the first time since her fall, she wasn't afraid. The ceremony was still ongoing when Malik and Zara reached the edge of the village square. Music filled the air, but celebrations froze when people noticed a dusty girl approaching slowly. Zara's mother saw her first. She screamed and ran forward, pulling her daughter into her arms with shaking hands and sobs. "My child," she cried, "where have you been?" Zara collapsed against her, tears flowing freely, finally safe inside familiar arms again. The crowd murmured loudly as her father rushed forward, relief crashing into his face like sunlight. The chief stood from his seat, raising his hand for silence. "What happened to this girl?" he demanded. Malik stepped forward and spoke clearly.
I found her trapped in a pit inside the forest. Someone tried to destroy her. Gasps spread through the crowd like fire across dry grass. Sarah lifted her head and told everything. The insults, the fake friendship, the shortcut, the fall. Her voice shook, but her words were strong. The crowd turned slowly toward Naya, Suri, and Kemi. Their faces drained of color. Bring them forward, the chief commanded. The girls trembled as guards dragged them before the gathering. Did you do this? The chief asked coldly. They denied it at first, shaking their heads, avoiding everyone's eyes. Then Kemi broke down. We were jealous, she cried. Everyone loved her. Nobody noticed us. We didn't mean to hurt her, Suri added, sobbing. We just wanted to stop her. The chief's face hardened. Jealousy nearly killed an innocent girl, he said. That is not weakness, that is wickedness. He ordered the guards to take them away for punishment and public service under supervision. The crowd watched silently as they were led away in shame. Then the chief's son stepped forward. Throughout the ceremony, he had felt something missing, something unfinished, something important. Now he knew why. He walked toward Zara and stopped before her. I am the one I was waiting for, he said calmly. The crowd gasped. I did not choose beauty. I chose strength, courage, and truth. Zara froze, shocked, unsure if she had heard correctly. He held out his hand. Will you walk beside me? Tears filled her eyes as she nodded slowly. Yes. The crowd erupted into cheers. Her mother wept openly. Her father smiled proudly. Malik stepped back quietly, satisfied. The girl they tried to bury rose instead, not broken, not bitter, but chosen. And that day, Zara learned something powerful. Jealousy digs graves, but destiny builds thrones.